Here again with another Shameless Season 7 episode review video. Before I get into that though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am at rewatching or watching Shameless, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, you found out you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And for all of you out there that are wondering, I have seen Shameless at least one time all the way through. Some episodes I've seen multiple times. And for the most part, I really like this show, especially right now. I know towards the end, it does get pretty bad, and the quality and the writing are absolutely terrible. But right now, I'm on the good stuff, so I'm relatively enjoying every episode. I do think that the next season is where it starts to fall off a bit, but so far, so good. Really liking it. With that in mind, this will be Shameless Season 7 episode title, or Episode 7. The title of this episode is called You'll Never Ever Get a Chicken in Your Whole Entire Life. And this will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. Did we really need that long of a title? Ian wakes up next to Trevor. They seem really happy together. I guess Ian's already forgotten about Caleb. And Fiona tells Liam about her first day of school. Liam ends up walking the final 2 blocks without Fiona. I don't know. He's kind of young. Did he really need to walk all that distance by himself? He's still very young. He still probably picks his nose, too. That's what kids do. They should not be making their own decisions. Debbie is being a bitch during breakfast at Neil and Sierra's place. And basically, she's demanding that Lucas gives up his room to give Franny a room, so that looks good for the social services or whatever, that DFCS or whatever it's called. Sierra's son will, like I mentioned, has to give up his room to Franny due to DCFS coming for a visit. Lip beats Trevor. Liam gets to school and it's closed. It's done. He goes back home. He actually ends up letting the dog out, the one that Lip got from the internship, like not letting him out, like the dog went out the door and he didn't even, okay. And then he goes to see Frank at the Gallagher homeless shelter. He says he wants to learn, and Frank sets the homeless shelter place on fire and goes with Liam. There's a leaking washer at the laundromat, and Etta still hasn't changed Fiona, or still hasn't cashed Fiona's check yet. Now, I think I was calling her Edna in previous episodes. For some reason, I thought that's what it said, but it's Etta, E-T-T-A, so I do apologize for that. But she has not yet cashed Fiona's check yet, the $80,000 check that Fiona wrote her. Svetlana doesn't want to have sex with Yvonne anymore and goes to the alibi instead. Trevor and Ian talk about having sex, like who's going to take it. Vlad is there to fix the leak. He says what he's doing is just putting a Band-Aid on it, and it really needs she needs new washers. She needs new machines, is what he says, and they're really expensive. Etta says the man's a thief because he says how much they are. Debbie's mad that Fiona won't come to the courthouse with her. She comes to the laundromat and says, Fiona, I really need you to come to the courthouse with me because Frank won't do it. Vlad leaves and Etta flips him off. Frank finds out specifics about Liam's school closing. Ewings comes to visit Lip at Patsy's and tells him his appeal process was granted. He's got a hearing, which Ewings did for Lip. So Lip didn't actually apply for this appeal. Ewings did it because he thought Lip deserved another chance. And he says a clean record, even if you don't want to go to school anymore, would be a good thing. V and Kev fight over Yvonne. Svetlana says, stop fighting. She will handle it. Frank takes Liam to the private school. Fiona sees Etta eat cat food. She calls Fiona Sandy, so she's obviously got some dementia. I don't know if it's later stages or early stages of dementia. Frank gives his thoughts on the people at the private school. That's where he says you'll never, the chicken line. That is the ridiculous episode title. The gas is being turned off at the laundromat due to a gas leak. Debbie attends a class with Franny and Neil. She thinks it's a waste of time. She does it only because of DCFS. Frank takes Liam to his new school, and immediately he gets bullied. Svetlana comes back to the alibi with blood on her face and her chest. Mission accomplished. Yvonne is gone and no longer in our lives. Charlie, Sierra's ex, takes Lucas. Charlie's actually in recovery. To fix the gas leak problem, it's almost going to cost Fiona $2,000, a little bit under $2,000. So Fiona actually goes to Patsy's and takes money from Patsy's that was in the safe and writes an IOU. Ian and Trevor are going to get it on with a dildo, and they start by listening to DMX. X is going to give it to you. Great song from, I think that's from Cradle to the Grave, or maybe it came out before then. Ian has to go first due to the coin flip. Lip and Sierra are at an arcade. Fun times. I used to go to arcades all the time back in my younger years, like 30 years ago. Margot comes into Patsy's for a burger. She says it costs a lot of money to make money. Frank goes back to the private school to bitch and is surprised that I don't know if this person was the principal or an admin, wants to speak with him. And Fiona goes back to the laundromat and tells the guy that he can ask Etta for the money as she owns the place. And Fiona grabs her check and doesn't give it, changes her mind based off of what Margot says. The admin or principal at the school says to Frank that, what would you say if I offered Liam a place here at Hopkins Academy? She tells Frank that they would be covering the cost as well. V and Kevin are hesitant about having sex with Svetlana, as Kev thinks that she killed Yvonne. Sierra gets a call that Charlie left Lucas with someone else. Ian's ready. At first, it's painful, but then he ends up liking it. Sierra's worried that Debbie will kick her to the curb. V and Kev do another threesome with Svetlana. V gets off, but Kev, all he can think about is Yvonne's ghost cock. He decides to go sleep downstairs. Taking money from Patsy's, I think, has her worried and kept up all night. Ian and Trevor really had a good time taking it in the ass, so they really enjoyed it. Liam's going to private school. Tells Frank that he's a good dad, and Frank looks like he wants to cry. So Liam is the only kid that really appreciates Frank for most of in fact, the whole entire show for the most part, if I remember correctly. Fiona goes to the bank and deposits the check for the laundromat into Etta's account. She tells the teller she's an owner. Frank demonstrates a technique to handle a chicken/rooster, or whatever it was. Looked more like a rooster to me, but I guess it was a chicken at the private school, and that's what ends the episode. So I'm really enjoying Shameless for at least for all the episodes the second time around. So far, so good. I know the quality dips. So I'm going to score this episode an 8.5 out of 10. My characters of the episode, I'm going to give Ian for the males and Fiona for the females. And actually, Liam should have some consideration for the male character of the episode, although he's not really featured as much, but he did some things in this episode. So you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of Shameless and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, or you want to talk Shameless, make sure you Hulk smash the like button. Share the video with a friend. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms. If you're that big of a Shameless fan, don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of Shameless, as well as Shameless in general. What would you rate this episode? Whom would be your male and female character of the episode? Or just one if you want to do one at a time. Some people would rather do both because it's fair to a male and a female. But what if somebody identifies as both? Then what do I do? So let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget that, well, actually, click right here for my Shameless series finale rant video, assuming that you've seen every single episode of Shameless. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.